Welcome to your Daily Detroit for Wednesday, October 6th, 2021. I'm Jared Stays, and today it's all about new things. First, we go out to the newly renovated Kahn Apartments in New Center. Second, a couple quick stories when it comes to new automotive tech facilities. And before we go, I'll take you to the Rivertown Market by Meijer, open today on East Jefferson Avenue. Thanks to our members on Patreon for making this show possible. A member called the Unerased Book Club joined us, along with Sophia and so many Daves at patreon.com/dailydetroit. Your support is crucial, and thank you very much. Lots of people talk about the Fisher Building, but completed a few years later in 1931, the Albert Kahn Building deserves a lot of praise. Funded by the same Fisher brothers of Fisher Body Works fame and, well, of course, the Fisher Building, it was a project that kept people employed as the Great Depression hit. Looking as if it was plucked right out of a New York block and dropped in the middle of Detroit, the ornate structure by Detroit's most well-known architect, for which the building is now named after, is an example of what Art Deco can really do. It managed to stay pretty occupied even through some of Detroit's toughest times, but from the turn of this century up to 2014, according to historicdetroit.org, office occupancy dropped from 92% to just 50%. It was time for a new use, and that's where we are today, with Lutz Real Estate and Northern Equities Group putting in $70 million to convert it to 206 apartments. Amenities include a 3,000 square foot gym, rooftop terrace areas, and more. You're near one of my favorite blocks in the city, Palliser Street, and soon the new Peter D. Cummings dog park that's going into the neighborhood, which is something I'll have to get more details on. For more on the development, I talked with Adam Lutz, President and CEO of Lutz Real Estate Investments. So how long has it taken to pull this project together?
My partner, Matt Soss, and I first walked this building. It was pretty much vacant when we did so almost 4 years ago. It was the end of 2017. We purchased the building from another local development group, The Platform, who bought this along with the Fisher back in, I think 15 or 16. And then we closed in May of 18, and construction began in April of 19.
And what drew you to this one?
Well, Matt and I were just looking for something to do in Detroit to be part of the revitalization, and then when this came on the market, we were just ecstatic that we could be a part of such a historic building. And we prefer to do projects of a larger size, so this really fit in our wheelhouse of what we like to do. And we were just ecstatic that we could transform it as it is today.
Well, and the building has a lot of history, too. I mean, I remember my mom told me that there used to be a Saks Fifth Avenue, and I went and looked at the photos, and there was. What about this building do you think will call to people today?
Most of the prospects that have come through so far and the tenants that live here appreciate the history of Detroit, the history of this building. They're looking for something that's not cookie cutter. They love the Art Deco feel, the functionality of it, but yet a feel, it's designed is look and feel like it was back in the 30s. So I think that's the nature of it's more of a neighborhoody feel than it is in the core. So it's people that want to walk to the park. They don't want the noise or traffic of the CBD, but want to live in the city and be able to access those city amenities relatively easily by taking either Q line or an Uber or a bike, if you will.
And what was the greatest challenge in pulling all this together?
I would say that we were fortunate that we ordered a lot of our supplies before COVID, but the COVID interruption probably cost us a year because of all the shutdowns and starts and restarts. When part of the electricians got sick, they all had to go and take 2 weeks off. Or when the gentlemen that were installing the drywall, one of them got sick, took the whole crew down. So it really added an extra year of time at the end of the day to the project, and that was the hardest thing of the project.
And finally, how has leasing been so far, and what's kind of been the initial response?
I mean, the initial response is fantastic. We just had Our Detroit came through in their tour, so we had 200 people that came through. They loved it. I think everyone is extremely excited by what we've done here in terms of the decor and the furnishings and the fixtures and just restoring what Detroit's prior height of what it existed was the 20s and 30s and 40s, and we've recreated that, and we're going to lease the first floor out to commercial tenants. Hopefully, the next Saks Fifth Avenue will come here over the next year. I mean, we have beautiful 18-foot ceilings and windows all the way around, and we really want to reinvigorate the Second Avenue corridor when the Fisher is opening again. So when people are back to work at the Fisher building, I think this corridor will be a really exciting place for the city.
According to their website at thecondetroit.org, they have studios starting at about $1,500 a month to 2-bed, 2-bathroom units at $4,500. 20% of the project is set aside as what's called affordable for those making 80% of the average area median income. Or if you do the math according to the Housing and Urban Development Guidelines, that works out to making less than about $50,000 a year to qualify. On Tuesday, General Motors announced that they're making a large investment in battery development at their tech center in Warren. The 300,000 square foot Wallace Battery Cell Innovation Center will open sometime next year and house hundreds of employees. Battery technology has been largely unchanged for a quarter century, but to help make the switch to electric, automakers are going to have to make some breakthroughs. The goal is to cut the battery cost 60% on current vehicles and extend range up to 600 miles. They'll be focusing their work on lithium metal, silicon, and solid-state battery tech, as well as improving production methods. This also could indicate a future of proprietary battery technology based on whatever vehicle you purchase. A specific price tag wasn't attached to the new facility, which looks like something out of a mid-century modern catalog, and it met a we. Staying in the EV lane, ground broke on the old Cadillac stamping plant on Detroit's east side this week. Lear's new just-in-time facility at Connor and I-94 and just down the road from General Motors Factory Zero will cost $48 million and span 684,000 square feet. The Southfield-based Lear says there will be 450 new jobs, and there could be more with a second tenant in a planned phase 2. Now demolished, the old stamping plant had started life as a Hudson Motors plant. It was purchased by GM in the 1950s and shut down in the 1980s. Since then, it had stood relatively unused. And finally, the Rivertown Market by Meijer opened up at 1475 East Jefferson today. Spanning 42,000 square feet, I remember being at the announcement back in 2017 for when this whole project got started. But work didn't really start until a year ago. Deleted from the original plans were more than 200 apartments and an additional underground garage. The developer said that those parts no longer made sense. So what do we have today? Well, a lot of listeners have messaged that they're excited about this one, so I caught up with a few people in the run-up before opening.
Marcus Rutherford, I am the store director of Rivertown Market.
Why Rivertown Market and why here in Detroit now?
Honestly, it's a long time coming. I think this community deserves it, to be able to offer the variety and the assortment that we're doing, from fresh produce to meat, the customer service levels we're having. I couldn't be more proud of my team that we've hired to be able to open this store for this community. I think they deserve it.
What are some of the things that you might find here uniquely? Because I know there are grocery stores in Detroit, of course, but what are some of the things you could find here uniquely at this market?
I think there's so much that sets us apart. One of the things I'll talk about is the local vendor piece. That's huge for us, being able to use our platform to be able to have so many local vendors, over 2,000 local items. I think that's one of the many things. But, when you look at somebody like a Pizza Man Pizza, right? Ray Tucker, who grew up right up the street, went to King High School to be able to open up a business in Highland Park, and then us to be able to have his pizzas. He's delivering fresh twice a day. That's something that hasn't really been done in the market. When you think about even us having fishing equipment for you guys to be able to buy that whenever you want. I think there's so many different aspects to do it, but most importantly are the people. That's one thing that I'm passionate about is our team and our associates and the energy you're going to feel when you're in the building.
From a business perspective, what kind of area do you feel like you're going to draw from? Downtown, Indian Village, the Points? What are you thinking is your geographic footprint?
I think we're going to get people from all over. I think you're going to get people from Grosse Pointe coming down, Corktown, Midtown. I think there's just a variety of different walks of life that are going to come in this building, and we're excited to be able to have them.
You mentioned that you've been hiring folks. How has that gone with, well, the world? As I wave my arms grandly, how has that gone and how has that pickup been?
It's been a very easy process for us. We had 4 hiring events at Detroit PAL. We hired about 75 associates. Only one didn't pass background, and so it hasn't really been too much. I've been really happy. Just about 60 to 65% of our associates are within 5 to 10 minutes of it. Some are even in walking distance. So I think it's important for us to show that you can not only live in this community, but you can work in this community, you can grow. We can just do everything together.
Why do you think you were able to pick up employees so quickly? Because as a business reporter, so often I hear, like, I'm having trouble finding people, all that kind of stuff.
I think there's just a lot of excitement around being in a brand new store and being in this store in particular and what it means to this community. And I think people understand that this is history and they want to be a part of that history and they want to be able to represent the city correctly. And that's what I take a lot of pride in, is my team being able to do that.
And so what's the number one thing someone should look for when they come here at the store for the first visit?
Man, there's so much to see.
I know. It's like picking a favorite kid because, I mean, you're the guy who puts this all together, but
I'm just proud of the whole team. Honestly, again, the people, to be able to have the local assortment that we're going to have, Great Lakes coffee in here, fresh sushi every day. There's just so much to say, but just meet the team. When you see it, we really want to bring that old grocery school feel, right? Where you came in and people were exchanging recipes. We knew you by name. We're taking more of an intimate approach to this. This isn't just something that we talk about. This is what we live. So my team is really passionate about that.
So this is Rivertown Market. It is connected in a way to Meijer corporately, right? What's the difference between this and, say, a Meijer store for the uninitiated?
Super centers are much bigger. We're about 42,000 square feet. Super center is anywhere from 160 to 240,000 square feet. We're not going to have, clothes and some of the other items that they might have. Really what we're looking to have is just be grocery stores, right? To be able to have that fresh produce, to be able to have the meat and the selection. But also, we're going to have those Meijer prices that you love so much, right? So we're going to be very competitive in the market. This isn't something where we're going to price you out of the market or something you can't afford. I want to make sure people know the store is beautiful, but I think you're going to love the prices even more when you get to checkout.
So, as I do, I went wandering and I ran into that Ray guy. So I understand you are the pizza man.
Yes, I am the pizza man.
And does the pizza man have a name other than the pizza man, or are you legally the pizza man?
Not yet. My name's Ray Tucker. So I started Pizza Man. We started in January.
You're trying to kind of grow the thing, huh?
Oh, yeah, we're growing. It started out as a project of passion for our community. We make sure that we're feeding our community in Highland Park some good food. It was just one restaurant in a 2-mile radius. So while we were sheltering in place, I got an opportunity to get a business, a building that had a ventilation in it. So I told my wife we're gonna sell some food. She was like, "What kind of food?" And I was like, "Pizza." And so because while sheltering in place during COVID, we had pizza like every other day, and I was like, "Okay, this is a good business to get into." And we started there. We came up with a style of pizza. And so far, everyone's been loving it.
That's cool. Yeah, I stay in the north end. So where in Highland Park are you?
6 Mile in Hamilton. The address is 17011 Hamilton. And so we're right on the corner of 6 Mile in Hamilton. Looks connected to a gas station, but it's 2 separate addresses.
So you'll also be offering here. What will you be serving here?
We'll have take and bake here, so you can actually take a Pizza Man pizza home for you. And cook it at your home, and then we'll also have fresh deliveries here at 12 and at 4 p.m.
Okay. And are you planning on getting a cape?
Like Pizza Man with the big...
Like Mel Farr, remember those commercials?
Yeah, that was crazy. I used to love those commercials, man. I don't think I'm gonna wear a cape, but I feel like I have a cape on when I see the opportunities that are coming our way and how we've been helping the community. And how the community's been gravitating to our food, so I do feel super, and the love is great.
Yeah.
You trust me?
I do, and you got food, and I'm a big man. Big men like food.
You got to try it first.
Okay.
You'll understand after you try it where the conversation's going to go. I am Victor Allen Washington Jr. I am the creator of Washington's Gourmet Cheesecakes.
Well, I just tried some of that turtle, and it was something else. How did you get into the cheesecake game?
My second wife used to always talk about her ex-husband's cheesecakes, and I didn't want to hear about it anymore, so I made a cheesecake to shut her up.
Really? That's amazing.
That's it.
Oh, my gosh. That's a story. Now that's a story. Do you have a favorite out of these? I see a raspberry. I see a turtle. Of course, original, caramel swirl, and pecan. Ooh, pecan.
My favorite is the turtle.
Okay.
That was the very first cheesecake, actually. But I like to do some extra stuff to it. I like to put my strawberry shortcake on top with some chocolate and caramel drizzle.
And where are you based out of?
Southfield, Michigan.
So do you have any culinary experience before this, or are you just...
While in college, I was going for business. And the college, the dean of business, the president of the college took me to Lansing to lobby on behalf of some baccalaureate degrees. And they said we got the $10 million grant because of the cheesecakes.
See, now that is cheesecake doing good. That is, I hate to say, I don't hate to say it because I love puns. It's a sweet story.
It is a sweet story. I love you for it.
If people want to know more about what you're doing, where can they visit? Obviously, they can come to this Rivertown Market, but where else can they go?
The bakery is on 10 Mile and Greenfield. The address is 15600 West 10 Mile Road, unit number 10. We're in the New Orleans Plaza, and I'm also at the Eastern Market on Saturdays in Shed 3.
I'm Phil Sack. This is my wife, Randy Sack. And this is our son, Kevin Sack.
Okay, so this is a family business, Ma Cohen's, eh?
Yes. Yes, it is.
All right, so how did you get into sliced lox?
Well, first of all, we've been in Detroit since '59 as a business. And I learned the trade from a man that was in business called City Smoke. And they are no longer in business. I didn't compete against them, but he taught me the business. So we took over from that about 25 years ago. We have a production facility, and we have a small dedicated crew, some that have been with us for close to 40 years. And it's ongoing training all the time, and we're very fortunate.
So how did this partnership come together where you're selling at Rivertown?
Well, actually, I'm going to turn this over to Kevin because he's the one that made contact.
Yeah, so actually, Tara from Gus and Gray, who makes jams right in the Eastern Market, she actually connected me with Marcus Relaford, the store director here at Rivertown.
And how excited are all of you about selling here, and how well do you think it's going to do?
Oh, it's going to be tremendous. This community needs a Rivertown Market. We actually live a half a mile from here, and so we know that it's slim pickings before Rivertown came to town.
Yeah, we're really excited. It's going to be huge, for our community.
Yeah, we can ride our bikes. We can actually walk if we don't do a big shopping here. We've been here about 6 years, and we just love it. I'm still working, so my commute to work is no freeway, and it's 4 minutes. We're in the Eastern Market.
Okay. I was going to ask, and so that's a permanent space in the Eastern Market?
Oh, yes. Yeah. We've been there about 20 years, but overall, we've been in Detroit for 62 years.
So what are my 2 cents on this one? Well, despite some popular myths, as a city resident for a while, I can tell you that Detroit does indeed already have grocery stores. But I think Rivertown will do well. I like that it's near 2 major bus lines, the Jefferson and the Van Dyke Lafayette, but my gut says they're going to regret not doing a rooftop parking garage or something like it on this site. It has about 100 parking spaces now, and it was full even at the preview. I think this Rivertown Market is going to be a big magnet, not just for city residents, but the Grosse Pointes that don't have any sort of Meijer nearby either. And it might just push some of the other local stores to step up their game too. I hope you got something out of today's show. As a reminder, we do this every single weekday. If you haven't already, be sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows. Don't forget, if you're using Spotify, to hit that notification button too, so that you don't miss an episode. Over there, it kind of works like YouTube. Anyway, if you've already done that, tell a friend. It's the best way to push Detroit's conversation forward. Thanks so much for listening to Your Daily Detroit. I'm Jer Stays. Take care of each other, and I'll talk with you tomorrow.